Hey, what's up guys, this is Fahim at Tech Gaming Villa. Today we'll be looking at the LG C2 versus the Sony X90K. It is OLED versus full array LED. I'm not a huge stickler for calibration or accuracy. I do like things in the middle. I do like an accurate image. However, I do want to show you how things will be at your home. I'm not a scientist. I don't claim to be a calibrator, no desire to be a calibrator. I just want to show you how they will look when you bring them home and the way you will be setting them up, the way you will be going through the settings instead of being told how to do it. I'm showing you kind of the way you will wander around and say, okay, that looks really good in an animated film, or really good in say anime, or something that's fully CG. But in films you will knock that down to custom or cinema or filmmaker mode. They are both very beautiful. If you like Sony signature with its color, every display has its own signature. I do find it ironic that the LG brand and the Sony brand and even Samsung all look very similar in their standard preset, which no one likes. I personally like standard because I think standards allow vibrant presets that you can dump down and remove the processing. Now here we're going to go into standard juice. We're going to come out of dynamic. This is standard juice. That standard juice mode is for me is black adjust, light color. Dynamic contrast is on medium, local dimming is on high on the C2. Dynamic contrast is on medium, just a way to show you how they will juiced again. Not meant to be accurate. The saturation on the C2 is up. After this will return back to cinema and filmmaker. But I always think it's fun to push them hard. You can calibrate this down and make them look very similar. I just don't find that helpful at times. I think it's more helpful, at least in the group that we have here. Whoever's watching is real tech, real people, real environment. Now the finish of the X90K doesn't really alter or hurt the image or the contrast ratio. I know with matte finishes a lot of times we feel like it doesn't yield as clean an image. I feel like when the lights are on, that definitely feels like the case, but in the dark room it's not something you really notice. Again, it would be easier to tell that with a matte OLED versus the finish on the C2 where it's glossy. Now lastly we'll go in here to SDR, which looks beautiful on both. A lot of people feel that OLEDs are very dim in SDR. Didn't have to peak at the brightness. Let them run wild on SDR and they both look very nice. The OLED is dimmer as we expected, but not so jam again. You can create the higher OLED light. You can change it. I don't recommend doing that often, but it looks great. Now always I want to know what you think. In the comments, the X90K will be used for gaming in the next few days. Will be also go against the 8TJ as well as the C2. As that's the panel I have in the house, they will also both go against the C1 at 83 inches. I will be filming the Z9K at Valley this week, and then the A95K in a few weeks. Now the motion settings are set to standard in this preset. Again, this is just you can see the OLED is still pushes cool, even though it is a warmer image. That's not how it looks in person. It's just the way they look on camera. But I'm very happy with both now here with our famous LG demo. The aperture is brought down a bit in this one simply because the transitions are so slow and it is accurate to know what I see now. What you will see here with the blooming, that I will explain more than what you can see, just because the transitions were so slow. It was creating blooming that wasn't there, as you can see with I love this. You see around the glass, this where you will see more of the blooming around the edges on the right on the X90K. It's not really a halo around it, but around the entire scene. But for the most part, very pleased with the X90K, as long as your dead center go up a little bit. And in this demo it's not as evident, but you will see more blooming. Now this demo right here, my camera is not really capturing it, but it's the where it's not blooming. It's just whole thing is lifted a bit, if that makes sense. But the C2 is clearly solid and beautiful. but this was closer to what I see in real life than letting it stay where it was, where just the camera was catching this haze that wasn't there. It almost does better with faster transitions than these really slow methodical ones. But you can see the clarity on the C2, not just because it's smaller, it's there, and you see like the black levels not just on the edges. I don't know if you can catch that. It just highlights the whole screen versus just around them. Now at the very end, here we are going to transition into the brighter kind of deeply lit room. Many of you watching these conditions and will be able to start seeing some of the reflection handling. You'll also see the X95J or X95K or X90K. I'm sorry, looks brighter in these conditions. LEDs tend to be recommended for brighter environments. They do pull away from each other in a brighter environment. Now again, the C2 is glossy, the X90K is the semi-matte, going back into Jen's material here to show you more of a cinematic look. Not full screen, they are both handling the reflections pretty good. Now here, as we get the blinds can be open, there's also a window to the right of the X90, which is why I'm going to show you more of the C2. Now on the X90, as you can see, the metal finish doesn't make it as clear as the reflections. It kind of softens them. I'm not sure it's better. Where if you look at the C2, it's more of a mirror. Now I will close that other drape on the right, and that's much better. I move over to the C2, you can see that the same reflections are in the C2. It's just like a mirror, but here we are a little bit more in the middle, and I do feel like even the glossy, the semi-gloss, you can still see there. We go show to one side, and then here if you look on the C2, the reflection is actually almost clear. So they are more like a mirror with the glossy finish, but I wouldn't say it's on the level here. That's better in the middle. I wouldn't say it's on the level of Samsung, which basically just swallows the light and just showing you the pieces that we're stealing. I like the X90K. I think it's very good for the money. It is a good value, better than the X90J. But the X90J launched a very expensive than the X95J. Is right there above it. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and press the bell icon for the future notifications update. Thank you.